Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to begin learning something that I expect many of you have been eagerly awaiting the entire specialization: how to edit data. In this lesson, we're just going to start learning it. So we'll begin by learning about the editing tools available in ArcGIS, how to initialize them and use them, and then start by just editing an existing feature class in this map document. We'll remove a feature and then we'll add a feature back in. So in the table of contents here, we have a base map of aerial imagery for the entire world, and then we have a feature class of US cities. And what we're looking at right here is a portion of the California coastline. Just so you know where we're at, I'm going to go to the Windows menu and click Overview, which brings up a full extent view of all the layers in the table of contents right now, with a little extent box showing where we're located right now. And I could leave this open in the corner or on another screen or something, but for now I'm going to close it back out. Okay, so to start with, editing in ArcGIS. How do we begin? Well, if we go to the US cities layer and open attribute table, what many of you have probably noticed already is that I can't just click and start typing. I'm trying to type right now. I can't just start typing and edit data that way. It won't let me edit these data tables in place. To do that without using the field calculator or to make changes to the features on the map, I need to use an edit session, which allows me to make changes and it keeps track of them so I can undo them. And then finally lets me save them back out to the features permanently. Like so many things in ArcGIS, I can bring up the editing tools by right-clicking up here and selecting Editor. And I get a new toolbar that's the Editor toolbar. And I can drag it around and have it float around if I want, but I'm going to just move it over to the right here. And if I want to begin editing, all I have to do is go to the Editor tools and click Start Editing. And it begins an edit session for the features in the map document. Now, the first thing I might try doing is now I can click into the attribute box and I can start making changes in here. I could do that to any records. I can tab around, move through, and change any of these attributes. So that's possible when we're in an edit session. Now, if I was to make a change and maybe I moved on and forgot that I'd made that change, but I knew that I'd made some change that I didn't want to keep, I could go to Editor and go to Stop Editing. And when it asks if I want to save my edits, I'll click No, and that 3 reverts back to a 2 there. My changes are discarded entirely. One other thing that we might want to know how to do is move around existing attributes. So let's get rid of the attribute table here, and let's start an edit session back up again. And if we zoom in to this town here named Willits, maybe I decide that I don't like the position of where the town icon is there, where the point for this town represented as a little set of buildings there is, and that I actually want it to be down over here. So all I need to do is use this tool here, the Edit tool, and when I click on the feature, it selects it using the selection color, and it is in fact selected in the attribute table as well. So there's one record selected in the attribute table, and I can just click the town when it's selected like that and drag the feature to wherever I want it to be. And when I'm done, I could go to Editor and Save Edits. And now when I stop editing, that change is permanent. It did not move it back to its original spot over here. That is written out to the disk, to the feature class, and if I send that feature class to anybody else, those changes will be there. Similarly, if I go back into an edit session again, and I select Willits one more time, I can hit the delete key on my keyboard now, and Willits disappears. Again, if I didn't like this change, I could stop editing and Willits would come right back, and there it is. But let's say that I made that change in an edit session, I delete the feature, I stop editing and decide to save my edits and it's not there anymore, and I change my mind. I need to create a new feature now. I need to put a new feature down. Now, this isn't the only reason you'd create new features, but in this data set, which was pretty comprehensive, I want to create a new town, and so let's just say that we accidentally deleted our town and now we want to add it back in. You'd use this same process, these same sets of tools to edit data once you are ready to on your own data sets. We'll show you in an upcoming lecture how you create a new empty feature class that you can put data into as well. So if I go back and start an editing session, but I want to create new features, what I need to do is bring up the Create Features window. So I go down in the Edit menu, and under Editing Windows, there are many options here. Editing is a whole huge subject. We could do the whole class on it, and we're mostly just going to teach you the very basics of getting started with editing so that you can go learn how to do more on your own. But to get started, we go to Editing Windows, Create Features. And over on the right here, I get all of the editable layers in the map document. So base map doesn't show up, I can't edit it. But the US cities layer does. If I had other layers in the map document, I would see them here as well usually. Now if I click on US cities, down here at the bottom I get the construction tools. These are the feature templates, and we can create new feature templates, which we're not covering in this lecture. But all I want to do right now is I just want to create a basic point. Since this is a point feature class, I just want to create a basic point. And if I select that, all of a sudden when I mouse over the map, I get that kind of ghost of the symbology there. And I can place it somewhere that I want this feature to be. So I'll just click, and there's my new feature on the map. And I can click again and create another one, and another one, and another one. And I have all these records at the bottom of my attribute table because they're new records, and they have null values. So their object ID is increasing because it automatically assigns it for them. But then the rest of these attributes are null. Now, I don't want those last three I just made, so I'm going to select them in the attribute table here, and I'm going to right click and delete selected, and those features just disappeared. And then if I now lose my spot in my attribute table or something and need to find that other record again, I'm just going to use the Edit Features tool and select it again. And now in the attribute table, I can show selected records and see it, and I can add its attributes in. So I know it's in Mendocino County, not Mendocino Country, and I know its name is Willits. And if I wanted to edit it further, I could add the rest of the attributes in right here. And then when I'm done, I'll go to Editor, Save Edits, and I have a checkpoint. And I'll continue editing now, and I could add in the population range, which I know was 0 to 9,999, and then I could save edits again or stop editing and discard just the changes that I just made if I wanted to. So let's get rid of that last change I made, but we keep the feature where it was because I already saved it. And I'll just do a regular selection now, and there's Willits, but it does not have the population range information. So everything else I did before when I clicked Save Edits was saved for me. So that's the edit session in action. The edit session lets us undo things. It keeps track of everything we do, and if we don't save, we discard it when we exit the edit session. The editing tools, as I said, are incredibly robust. They're a huge topic, and we're going to try to cover a bit more of it in this class so that you can create new features as you need to in ArcMap. These skills also translate really well into other GIS software such as QGIS and ArcGIS Pro. So we're really covering a general concept of editing and creating features in a GIS right now. Okay, that's it for this lecture. In this lecture, you learned how to use edit sessions in ArcGIS, how to edit attributes in place using an edit session, how to bring up the editor toolbar, how to move features, how to delete features, and how to create new features and add their attributes in. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to create your own new feature classes that you can then start editing. See you there.